everyone, welcome to EnKore, and today we're going to talk about Stila's Perfect and Correct Foundation, so keep watching.
Hey everyone, it's Pore, and you're watching EnKoreMakeup. Blend, blend, blend.
Hi, Loren, stop using my lipstick.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So not long ago, I did an event with Stila at Sephora on 5th Avenue in New York City. And at that time, they launched their Perfect and Correct Foundation, okay, which is this bottle right here that has the swirly stuff in it. And I've been liking it since because I've been using it a lot, not just on women, but also on men. And I found that this is probably my favorite foundation right now for guys, because I'm going to explain to you why. So, and of course, you know, just like women love it as well because of the benefits in this foundation. Now, the reason why this is Perfect and Correct and it's got all these swirls in it is because the white swirl right here is the moisturizer. So the moisturizer is built in to this product, okay? And within the moisturizer, there's also pH balancer, so it's also a toner within that moisturizer. And of course, in addition to that, it also has antioxidants built in, all right, to that. And the white part, or I mean, not the white part, but the clear part, as you can see, there's the white and then there's the color, which is foundation. But all that is swirled into a clear part that you see in the bottle, all right? Well, you can't see it because it's clear, all right? But the clear part is the primer. And within the primer, all right, the pore filler, the fine line filler, and the wrinkle filler are built into that, and it also has oil control. And for guys like me or women that have oily skin, much like I do, see how oily that is, it's got the oil control in it, okay? And of course, you know, the foundation part, which is the colored part right here, also mixed with the rest of the stuff. So within this whole bottle, you got your moisturizer, okay, that has antioxidants and a built-in pH balance, so it's got a toning properties to it, formulated right into the product. And then the clear part, you have your primer, oil control, pore filler, fine line, wrinkle filler, and all that stuff. And of course, the primer part's going to help the foundation, which is the nude part, the nude color, the neutral color right here is going to stick to the skin. And then, of course, you have your oil control in that as well. And then the foundation part also has mineral complex. So all that good stuff in this just one product. So the reason why a lot of guys tend to like this, I find, is that sometimes as makeup artists, when we do, you know, either makeup for men, like for TV, or as simple as groom, they get nervous when you put too much products out, you know, because you used to, you know, whip out the moisturizer and the primer, the face primer, and the pore filler, and the fine line filler, and then the foundation and all of that, and they get really, really nervous, and they go, whoa, you know, what's all that stuff you're pulling out? What are you going to put in my face, you know, as opposed to, this is all we're going to put on you, you know, so they get a little bit more kind of comfortable if you just show them, yep, you know, just one product putting on your face, okay, because it's got all that stuff already in the bottle. Alright, so that's why I like it. And I like this on myself as well. As most of you know, I have acne scarring, and sometimes I like to soften them up a little bit. And I don't want to put so much stuff in my face, you know, just like, you know, if I can, you know, if I can put just one product, then great. So that's why I've been using the Perfect and Correct on myself as well. Now, a few things that's kind of like a negative that I'm going to share with you is that there's only a few shades of these, and I already know for a fact that I'm a combination of the medium and the dark. Okay, so I'm in between these two, so there's no perfect match for me. So that's why, you know, I get, you know, I mix these two, and I mix them in my palette, in my ring palette, much like this one, or a bigger palette, whichever you have, like a flat surface. And I'm going to show you how to easily apply this. It's really, really simple. I'm also going to show you guys how to apply the new and upcoming product, which is the One Step Bronzer, okay? And I believe this is, I'm not sure if this is out yet, but it's coming out in the fall. But it also comes much like the Perfect, or the Perfect and Correct. There's a one-step bronzer that has pretty much all that stuff built into it as well. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do that as well. Now, you know, the method I'm going to show you guys today is definitely ideal for applying on men And of course, you know, women can also take advantage of it because there's just not much difference. You know, you apply in guys, you apply in girls. It's the same exact technique. So I'm just going to show you how to do this. So when you open the product, okay, it's basically going to come in a pump. Now this is an airless pump. Okay, so another disadvantage to that is when you get to about here, okay, because what happens, like, this bottom part pushes the product up, okay, because it's airless, and then you'll get with like an empty bottom part right here, it becomes top heavy. So sometimes when you set it up, it's going to topple off because it's top heavy. So what I usually do is I set it upside down so that way the weight is on the bottom. So which is great that it has a flat lid, because I know I have some airless pumps that has kind of like an oval lid and I can't set it upside down like that, so that way the weight is on the bottom part, right? Because what happens, like, you're going to have all these product over here and empty down here. It's going to be top heavy, it's going to topple off. So it is an airless pump, all right? And this is actually the dark, yeah. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the product, okay, right in my palette. One pump is usually enough, all right? So what I do is I do half a pump because I mix two colors, all right? So I'm going to show you how to swatch this first. So I'm going to add the medium on the other side, so that way you can see the difference. All right, here we go. All right, so now in my mixing palette, I have the medium and the dark, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch. And much like in my previous videos, to swatch, make sure you swatch on this part of the skin, because that's the skin you want to match, because you want the neck coloring. Okay, you want to match the foundation to the neck coloring. So as you can see, if I do the dark, okay, I'm just going to use a little Q-tip. I just put it right there. See there? It's too dark. Okay, now if I do the medium, all right, see, you can see the medium, it's too light. So, and there's no in-between colors. So I'm going to make the in-between color by mixing the two. All right, so that's one of the disadvantages, is if you're in between colors, you're going to have to mix. All right, so now that I have the product right in the mixing palette, I'm going to use my stipple and swirl brush. This is the best brush to use with this product. And of course, all the good stuff we talked about is already in here: the primer, the moisturizer, the antioxidants, oil control, pore filler, and all that. And I'm just going to make sure that that's well mixed, all right, by pouncing it on. And I'm going to stipple this on first, okay? Going to stipple it right in the area where I need it, okay? So once I deposit the product, I'm going to swirl. And look at that forehead. Gone. Look at my expression line right here. Nice and softer, okay? So you just stipple and swirl it, and it feels really cool on the skin. It doesn't feel sticky, it doesn't feel thick, and it doesn't look cakey. Look at that. Okay, so it doesn't look caked on. Alright, and that pretty much like covered most of my face, and I still have a lot of my palette right here. So sometimes you'll just have to control. If you're doing this on someone else, then you're definitely going to need to kind of like just, you know, kind of like eyeball it and see if that's going to be enough. If it's going to be too less, whatnot. So I'm just going to go over areas that I think I need a little bit more coverage. Okay, but for guys don't want thick on makeup. Okay, they just want like as natural looking as possible, which this is very, very ideal. Okay, just like so. Alright, so I have a lot of leftovers, so it doesn't require a lot of products to do this, but I don't want to waste it, so I'm just going to add it to areas here and there, like my jawline, a little bit over there, above the lips, and then done. Okay, so now that I have my foundation on, so I cleaned off my mixing palette. By the way, my mixing palette is available in our tour website at outofthebeautybox.com, and then click on store. And it's also available on my website at EnKoreMakeuponline.com. Alright, and then now I'm ready to put a little bit of bronzer. I'm going to use my One Step Bronze, which is a new product from Stila. And I'm just going to use probably not even a full pump, okay? Probably just that much on it. I'm going to use my Stipple and Swirl brush once again. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I evenly distribute that right on my brush. Okay, and then you're going to bronze where the sun naturally hits you. So anything, any feature of your face that protrudes out is probably going to be more susceptible to sun exposure. So those are the areas that you are going to bronze. So for me, it's going to be my forehead. Look at that. It's nice and golden. It's not orange. Okay, a little bit down the nose. Okay, right on the cheekbones. Okay. And you want to be sun-kissed, not sun-ravaged. Alright, just a little bit on my chin because that sticks out a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to use the remainder of this just to warm the perimeter of my face. Okay, around the hairline, jawline. Okay, just to give it a little bit of warmth. Okay, I'm just going to use up whatever's in my finger palette. And that's it. You get that nice bronzy look without looking orange, nice and healthy looking, and at the same time, you know, you have everything that the skin needs. The moisturizer, the pore filler, the primer, the antioxidants, the oil control, you know, it's all in there. The mineral complex within the foundation. So I got my foundation and my bronzer, and it doesn't look like I'm made up. Alright, so that's basically how to use that. So definitely check these out. They're available at Sephora, of course, and at StilaCosmetics.com. Visit their website and just click on face, and all the face products are in there. So thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.